In thinking about the future, it helps to study history. Only by doing that can you know where you are and think about what you might need to do differently. This is Professor Neil Hamilton from the Drake University Agricultural Law Center with this episode of Our Water, Our Land. This is the season finale, our 30th episode, and I'm coming to you today from my library here at Sunstead Farm, where we started last May. This is a bottle of Whiskey Acres Rye, a great example of thinking differently, but we'll get to it in a bit. So this is the last episode of Our Water, Our Land for this season, and I want to begin with some well-deserved thank yous. First, to Anna Jordan Gray, my assistant and collaborator at the Agricultural Law Center, who has edited and assembled these issues. Thank you, Anna, for your excellent work and for your advice. And to Morgan Gardner, our social media guru, who's helped us with our Facebook page and managing the communications about Our Water, Our Land. And also to our financial supporters, to Bill and Laura and the whole team at the Des Moines Water Works, who work every day to bring safe, clean drinking water to 500,000 Iowans. Thanks also to my friend and benefactor, Amy Goldman Fowler, for her support of many of my projects over the years at the Agricultural Law Center. And I want to thank Blue for helping share the word with the agricultural law community at Iowa State, people who continue to soldier on even in the face of institutional neglect. And of course, I want to thank the thousands of Iowa farmers and landowners and other viewers who showed their interest in our water and our land. People who are doing the right thing on their land and looking for ways to protect our land and water. So thank you to all of you who've enjoyed this series. I've tried to share some of your stories, but there are many more out there to share, and there are more being built every day. Well, we've covered much ground in the last 6 months with these episodes of Our Water, Our Land. We've learned a little bit about history and Iowa's legacy of conservation leadership through people like Bing Darling and Aldo Leopold and John Lacey. We visited some exciting projects in Charles City and Davenport and Decorah. I've tried to bring more insight and balance and honesty to discussions of land and water issues in our state. The future isn't all doom and gloom, as some might feel, but it is also not the rosy all-is-well picture those who deny our challenges may want to paint. The truth is, the situation is much messier, perhaps more so than we even want to admit. The good news is, we have many farmers and landowners working to do the right thing. Great farmers like my friends Ray and Elaine Gasser and Seth Watkins down in southwest Iowa, who are planting cover crops and restoring grasslands and farming the right way. And of course to the countless Iowans and landowners who are working to protect their land, like the good folks who partner with the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation to put permanent protection on their unique properties. But weighed against this good news are the tiresome efforts of those who would deny the reality of our situation, those who believe that there's a tolerable level of soil loss and are willing to support the soil erosion that we see, those who see the polluted waters in our rivers and streams and consider them the price of progress and of making a profit. We have the tools to address these challenges. The question is, do we have the wisdom and courage to employ the tools we know we have? I promised a recap of the November election results. Some of you may think that's why good Professor Hamilton has this bottle out, but that's not really the case. In fact, the news about the elections is short and clear. When it comes to land and water, the elections were a disappointment. Not so much in the outcome, but in the failure or willingness of the candidates to even address issues of water quality. In this regard, when it comes to the gubernatorial campaigns, both were a disappointment. none of the countless, some might say wasteful series of ads that we saw even addressed the issue of water quality. And in none of the three debates was the issue even raised. When it comes to the Secretary of Agriculture race, the results were somewhat more promising in that both candidates shared their love for the land, but given the name of the department, could we have expected any less? The winner promised to not raise additional funds through the sales tax to support clean water and to oppose any regulations to do so. The message was to be happy with the pittance that we devote to water quality and hope that somehow the flawed nutrient reduction strategy magically grows wings. The legislative outcome also offers little reason for optimism, but we can always hope. The one bright spot may be that if Iowa politicians are serious about addressing issues like mental health and other priorities facing our state, then the need for new revenue will become real. The fallacy of cutting our budget to gain prosperity will soon end, and when it does, the reality of the first 3/8 cents increase in the sales tax going to nature may become insurmountable. Of course, at that point, the fight will shift to the formula used to allocate the over $180 million it's estimated that the Natural Resource Trust Fund will gain each year. When that day comes, the people who are interested not just in clean water and healthy soils, but in trails and local parks and additional public lands must be ready to join the fight. But that's for next year. Now let's turn to this bottle of rye and the story it tells about the value of thinking differently. This fall, I had the opportunity to visit one of my former agricultural law students at his farm near DeKalb, Illinois, just off Interstate 88. Jamie Walters returned to the farm after graduating from the law school, but in a few years he gave up the law and returned to his love of farming. Well, a number of years ago, his family faced the type of decision that many farm families in Iowa have faced, whether to try to expand the size of their operation on very expensive land or to diversify. As Jamie tells the story, one evening when he was running the numbers about producing popcorn to sell into the Chicago market, the glass of bourbon that he held in his hand spoke to him. The light bulb went off and the future became clear. Today, you can visit Whiskey Acres Distillery and see for yourself the results of this vision. You'll visit one of the first on-farm distilleries in our nation, where the theme is from seed to spirit, and where everything they distill is grown right on the farm. Their story is a great success and a great example for all of us about the value of thinking differently. Well, this has been Professor Neil Hamilton from the Drake University Agricultural Law Center with the season finale of Our Water, Our Land, the purpose of which I hope shows you the value of thinking differently. Take care.